Oh, there's not much light, is there? It's a little more light. All right, guys, it's Monday. What is it? I think it's still February. It's March 4th. Hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a great weekend in terms of life in general, but also sales. Had a lot of, for me anyway, a lot of eBay sales over the weekend, and Amazon sales were, what were they over? Sunday was good. Let's see. What about yesterday? I mean, what about Saturday? Yeah, Saturday was good too. So Amazon sales were good. Hello, solid sales. Wow, a lot of people jumped on here right away. That's awesome. I like to see that. So yeah, I had a good weekend in life, but also with Amazon and eBay sales. My FBA sales were good. Well, my sales in general for Amazon, I just talk about them all in general. So between, let's see, Saturday and Sunday, I had 17 sales between for FBA and merchant fulfilled. So 17 sales, and one of them was it was average sale order was $21. So I must have sold something FBA for a lot of money. And yeah, so that was good. Let's see how many merchant fulfilled. 4 of those were merchant fulfilled. So I've gotten off to a good start this month. Let's see, as of today, so right now where I am, it's 4:30 p.m. So it's still a lot left to go in the day. And I believe I'm at 8 or 9 sales today. So for the month so far, I'm at 42 sales, $15 average sale price. So 1 second, solid sales. I'll be happy to talk about that. So for me, it's going well so far. So Amazon, when I look at the sales dashboard, it shows me the same date range from 1 year ago, and I was at 31 sales for way less money too, but half the money actually. But yeah, so in terms of sales, though, I'm up 11 sales just over the same time period. So I think I'm heading in the right direction. The videos I made last week where I talked about my sales in February of last year of 2018 were much higher than they were for me last month because I had a lot more inventory. And how right now for this year going forward, I'm pushing to grow back my Amazon business and to get my sales to a much, much higher level, really pushing throughout this year so that by the end of this year, I'll have a huge, huge December and a really big January and start off 2020 with hopefully a much larger inventory, just bigger sales, bigger numbers in general. So, anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but the theme of the video was, will sending in more Amazon, or the question rather, will sending in more Amazon inventory solve slow sales? So, but let me answer your question. So how do you differentiate between FBA and merchant fulfilled books? Thinking of starting up merchant fulfilled side of things, not making enough on FBA only. Well, I would still push hard for FBA. I don't know if you're doing like sourcing at thrift stores and garage sales and library sales and that type of stuff, book sales, or I assume you are. But I would just do as much FBA as you can. But while you're doing FBA, definitely look for merchant fulfilled books if you have the space. So make sure that you have space to store them. Books are a lot bigger than CDs, so they can take up space really quickly. I mean, if you got like a 5 shelf bookcase, you could fit a lot of books on there if you have a wall space for it, if you have your garage, if you have a storage unit, whatever it is. So first of all, make sure you have the space, but differentiating between FBA and merchant fulfilled books. So I mean, let me pull up Scoutly so I can just try to use an example if I can find one on here. I don't think I have a book to scan in here, but let me see real quick. These are all CDs, I think. I might only have CDs. Yeah, but I'll just look at these anyway. So, I mean, the first thing I look at for anything is I mean, I'm looking at my phone here. It's kind of hard to see on Scoutly. So, this is a CD, but the first thing I really look at is uh, I mean, I look at the sales rank, I look at the days with sales, and then I look at the lowest prices. But I probably look at the lowest prices first for FBA to see for used FBA. Well, also Amazon, but I do used FBA first. So this one, there's actually a used offer for $2.62. It's probably Amazon. No, it's not. It's somebody that has 79% feedback rating that doesn't want to make any money or wants to owe Amazon money. So I look at that as the lowest price, whether it's books or CDs, and if the price is too low, then I will look to see where the price is, and then if the price is too low, I mean, I'll basically look at the prices, but I'll also look at the number of offers as well as the sales rank. If the sales rank's too high, forget it. Then I'll look at merchant fulfilled, and I'll look at the lowest price. Usually with merchant fulfilled, I like to make at least $2 to $3, but I try to make $3 and up on more or less, but for FBA too, but also for merchant fulfilled. Um, I don't have like Amazon warehouse. They've got lots of space, so I can send in lots of items and don't have to worry about the storage. But with me, I do. I don't have, I have limited, but I don't have endless, of course. I don't have a massive storage space. So I only really want to do stuff where I'm going to make some money, and then it's not going to take forever to sell it. So if it's only going to make me $2, I'm probably not going to list it merchant fulfilled. But if I can make over $3, $4, and I feel that I'll actually be able to compete for it, then I'll do merchant fulfilled. So for you, solid sales, I would say you want to differentiate. I mean, you want to look at profit. So you have to decide, what's your minimum profit? Do you want to make $5? Do you want to make $10? Decide that, and then you can kind of work from there, because there's certain items that that aren't going to make sense for FBA, and some that'll make more sense for merchant fulfilled. So I'm trying to think of a specific example, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes, so if the merchant fulfilled price, then this happens more than you would think, but not super often. The merchant fulfilled price will be really close to the Amazon price, and then if the rank doesn't matter as much, but if I feel that I can compete for that sale, even if there's other offers, I'll match the lowest price, and I'll probably do it merchant fulfilled versus FBA. Just depends on how high that price is. Kind of like the higher the price goes, the similar the profit is. But like if you're selling $20 book at merchant fulfilled versus FBA, it's probably gonna be pretty similar in the profit, the final profit you're gonna get. So it's kind of hard for me to tell you exactly though, like, how to differentiate between them. But if I can't sell, first of all, I look FBA, say if I can't sell this, if it's gonna take too long, there's not enough profit, there's too much competition, I'll look at merchant fulfilled and I'll say, well, is there enough profit? If it's way too low, then like I already know if it's if the book's going, if it's $6, I'm not going to do that. Like I'm going to have to sell the book for probably at least, I don't know, I can't remember, because I usually do CDs, because for CDs, I usually try to do like $4 or more at the lowest I'll list it. I mean, I can go down to $3, but then I'm not making much money. So for books, I don't know, it's because it depends, because they weigh different amounts, they're different sizes. So look more at the profit than the dollar amount. But if you're seeing like $6, $7 as the lowest on a book, you're probably not going to want to even bother with it. So I would get used to what it comes out to in terms of the profit. Hopefully that helps a little bit. I wish I had some specific examples, but I don't have any. I have some CDs, but I don't have any books that I can scan or look up. So so I wanted to talk about, ask the question, will sending in more Amazon inventory solve, or not solve, or improve slow sales for you? I saw someone complaining about slow sales in one of the FBA book selling Facebook groups. And okay, I'm doing thrift, yard sales, etc. for stuff, books, some games. One day I'll get ungated for CDs and DVDs. Thanks again. No problem. I would definitely get used to looking at merchant fulfilled and seeing how much profit you want to make, how much you're willing to, if you're willing to wait, that type of thing. There's just a lot of stuff that's no good for FBA, but that can be good for merchant fulfilled. And yeah, so sometimes the prices are high enough and it's like, well, I'll just keep it. I won't send it in. And then, I've sold 2 books yesterday and today, merchant fulfilled, that didn't make sense for FBA, but I still made money off of them. And my merchant fulfilled sales are increasing. I did the numbers for last month, and I think I did 30 something. Let's see. Yeah, 38 sales. 38 sales, merchant fulfilled sales last month, which is 28 days, 38 sales, so 10 more than there are days. So 1 to 2 a day, basically. So I'm trying to just improve upon that. The thing about merchant fulfilled is there's a lot of mega sellers, so prices can drop suddenly. Something that had good profit in it can go down because a lot of the mega sellers are willing to make $1 off of things because they'll make money off of shipping. So that's the thing you got to keep in track of, keep on top of it for repricing and that sort of thing. So I saw somebody in the Facebook group talking about slow sales, which, people always comment about that. For the years that I've been doing this for 4.5 years, and people are always, I do it too, say, oh, are anybody's sales slow? And people chime in. Some will say yeah, some will say no. And I think I was talking about it recently, that maybe a couple weeks ago, one of my videos, that sales were a little slower for me. But that tends to happen in February after the holidays. Things kind of slow down a little bit. People getting back into normal life, and kids back in school and not spending as much money because they spent money during the holidays on presents and traveling and everything else. So I think that they kind of hold on to their money a little more, but it doesn't mean that you can't have good sales. Maybe not as many, but definitely for books, but and CDs probably too, but you can still have solid sales. So will sending in more inventory, Amazon inventory, solve slow sales, or improve it? So what, because someone said, what did they say? They wrote, has anyone else had a massive drop in sales? I'm a smaller seller starting out, normally sell at least 2 a day, but I haven't sold anything in almost a week. A week. Wow. That means to me. So first of all, if you were that person, and I don't know how small of a seller they are, like I don't know how big small or big their inventory is, number one, and number two, I don't know how consistent they are with sending in shipments. But I'll tell you right now, if you haven't sold something FBA in a week, then there is a problem. Especially, didn't he say? I normally sell at least 2 a day. So something is wrong. So either he or she's, I think it's a guy. It doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it's a guy. So either he stopped sending in shipments like for the last few weeks or month or whatever, or maybe has not repriced or never reprices. Probably more than likely is that my guess would be that he's not sending in consistent shipments. So if he's sending in consistent shipments and still hasn't got a sale, and like if he just sent in 50 books, 100 books, whatever, in the last week, and he hasn't gotten a sale in a week, then it's what he's sending in. He's not sending in stuff that's going to actually sell, because there's just too many great books. I'm just talking about books and media. and other media. There, not everything else out there, but just within media, there's so many great books to send in, and CDs and everything else, media wise, to have plenty of sales, and to find plenty of them, in thrift stores and garage sales and everything else out there, and book sales. That it must be what he's sending in. There hasn't been sending stuff in, or the stuff that he's sending is not. It's not quality, as in it's not really going to sell, or he's pricing it all wrong. So, because I would say, in my experience, when I send in consistent inventory, I almost never have a sales problem. Okay, so I don't mean that sales don't go up and down. That's always going to happen, Oh, I had 8 sales 2 days ago, and 9 sales yesterday, and I'm up to 9 sales today. Kind of where I am right now, but maybe tomorrow I'll only have 3 sales. Should I be like freaking out? No. I should just keep what I'm doing. Keep sorting through all the Gaylords I have, which I have 4 now to go through, because I finished those 7 boxes. If any of you guys were watching the videos, I was talking about that last week. And I sent in a shipment today of 79 items. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, just in my experience, whenever my sales have really gone down, it's when I've stopped consistently shipping. So in order to consistently ship, you have to consistently source, and then list, and then ship, right? You don't have to do it every day, but I would say you should be shipping out minimum every 7 to 10 days, ideally every week. And that's where about where I am. I'm about 7 to 10 days, because when I do a Gaylord of CDs, for instance, it takes me about 5 days, 5 business days, weekdays, to get from a full Gaylord to sorting it, scanning it, taking it all home, and then actually listing it, putting in the right boxes, and then actually shipping it out. That usually takes me about a full week. So sometimes, depends on where it falls and other things happen. So I would say for me about every 7 to 10 days, calendar days, if I'm consistent. And but as long as I continually send in shipments, I'm getting my sales tend to improve, or at least stay steady. They don't necessarily like jump way up. However, when a new shipment hits the warehouse and goes live, you should see a jump in sales. So fresh inventory should mean fresh sales. It should, if you're sending in quality stuff. New inventory hitting. I wrote this down. New inventory, because it's so brilliant. New inventory hitting every 7 to 10 days should mean a boost in sales. And of course, more future residual sales. But initially, you should see a boost. Like the day, let's say 50 items hit a warehouse, you should see some of those should sell immediately. Otherwise, you're not really sending in the right stuff. Unless all you're doing is long tail. If all you're doing is long tail, then you might not see that boost. But I don't think many people do that, but who knows? Maybe some do. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if some of you do that. But if you're wanting to turn this stuff over quick, you should see, let's say 50 items hit, 100 items hit, you should see, I don't know, 5-10% of that sell within a day. Okay, maybe not 10%. That's probably ridiculous. But, a certain percentage, it's going to vary, but you should see a bunch sell, especially if like 100 items hit the warehouse and go live. So, and over the next couple days, you should see a little boost in sales, and some of that stuff will sell immediately. And within the first week, a lot of that will sell, and then it'll slow down, of course, but it'll add to the foundation of your sales, which is residual sales, right? Which is stuff that'll take a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. So you sent it in 4 months ago, and that's selling with the new stuff you're sending in, with the stuff you sent in a month ago. Blah, de, blah. It builds on top of it, so that you're over time with consistent shipments. No matter how big your inventory is, the sales should just keep going up and up, unless you can't send in, like you hit sort of like the ceiling of how much you can send in, right? If that makes sense. But it all hinges on sending in quality inventory. So quality, what I mean by quality is stuff that's actually going to sell. So not stuff that's going to take a year, and it's fine if it's going to sell for $100 and it'll take a year. Well, then maybe, in a year of sending all that kind of long tail stuff, you should see really big sales consistently, and some of them will sell sooner. But mix those in for sure. It all depends on what you're doing. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not all, it's kind of like the best thing you can do is to just send in more inventory. But also, you can, if you have a repricer, then you're already repricing. But if you don't, you can always reprice a bunch of inventory. That should pretty quickly get you some more sales, because prices fluctuate all the time. Because new offers come onto the product page, and people's repricers undercut you. So, and they get into a battle and they go way too low. So repricing is definitely going to help as well. But it was just interesting because this person said, or another person, not the person who wrote this initially, because another commenter said, when sales are good, source more inventory. And then, doesn't matter what's happening, just source more inventory. Sales are good or bad. And then someone says, sales are downright awful. I've been sending stuff in constantly. That's a different person who said that. And I mean, unless that person is really new, that's surprising to me. If you're sending in stuff constantly and not getting that much sales. But anyway, and then someone else was talking about how there's seasonality, and it's true. If you're just doing books, you're always going to see a spike in sales starting in like mid to late July through August and into about September, a week or so. And they'll slow down, and then you should see them pick up again in November, and then December should be a bump in sales, and then January should be a great month into the first week or two of February, and then it'll slow down a little bit. Now, if you're mostly doing school-related books, textbooks, that type of stuff, there'll be a dramatic difference between those 2 times of year and the rest of the year, and there'll be a little bump for the quarter system in like June or so. May, June, something like that. There'll be a little bump there if they're on the quarter system. Maybe it's April, May. But yeah, so that's why I recommend diversifying. If you can't do CDs, then diversify within books. Diversify from FBA to merchant fulfilled. Do both. There's just lots of ways to diversify and to not have to deal with sales going down that much. I just really believe that, and in my experience, that consistently sourcing and listing and shipping will bring you consistent sales. So there's 7 of us on here. If anybody has any comments about this topic, please let me know here on the little chat situation. Otherwise, yeah. So yeah, I mean, sending in more inventory, repricing is really, and also the more you source, the more you list, the more you ship, and the more you see what sells and what doesn't sell, and how long things take to sell, the better you're going to be at knowing what to send in and what not to send in going forward. So it just doesn't make sense to me if someone says, I've been sending in shipments consistently every week and my sales are not improving. There's something wrong with their inventory. There just has to be. Because Amazon is it's a beast, man. And if you feed it, it's gonna give you sales. It's gonna make you money. but you gotta feed it the right food, I guess. So yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I know how this person feels. Um, talking about sales going down because I saw sales go down a bit in February, and eBay is super all over the place for me. It was great over this weekend, but it's kind of sporadic. But Amazon is pretty consistent. I still haven't figured out eBay, to be honest, but Amazon, not that I figured out Amazon, but I figured out what typically works for me. And so when I have a bad sale day, then I just say, well, it was just a bad day, things happen. But if I see multiple days, then I'm like, well, what's going on? Maybe I need to reprice. When's the last time I sent my inventory in or sent in more inventory? So here's what else was I going to talk about. So one of the reasons why my sales weren't as good in January and February of this year as they were last year is because when I keep track of how often I send in shipments, and let's see. Yeah, I was pretty consistent last year, all the way up to, let's see, September 27th. And then from my next shipment was not until November 9th. So that was way, way too long. Although I did send in a lot of items. And then my next shipment was not until January 4th. So I didn't send any shipments from November 9th of last year until January 4th, which is crazy. That's like 3 weeks of November and all of December. I did not send in any FBA shipments, which is one of the reasons why I did not have as great of sales. I'm not quite sure why I didn't send more in, but anyway, then starting in January, I did a shipment, and then I did on the 17th, the 4th, and then the 17th. So, and ever since the 29th, because I got my first shipment of Gaylords on the 23rd, I've been consistent. So on the 29th, I sent 3 shipments out, and then on February 8th, 3 shipments. These are split, so 3 shipments, and then 3 warehouses. And then so January 29th, February 8th, and then February 15th, 3 shipments. So those are smaller ones, but 3 shipments. And then the 25th of February. So those are 1, 2, 3 separate shipments. These are split, but 3 separate shipments that were split to different warehouses in February. So 3 times I shipped out. And the 25th, I sent 3 different warehouses. And then today, so the 4th. So that's only, let's see, the 8th to the 15th is, what is that? 7 days. 15th to the 25th is 10 days. 25th to the 4th is 3 plus 4 is 7 days. So that's why my sales, I think why my sales are starting to slowly get better overall is I've gotten consistent since January 29th, which, wasn't that long ago. I mean, January 29th to February 28th. I mean, that's what, 4 to 5 weeks, 4 weeks. And I've sent a lot of shipments in that have been split all over the place. But let me see how many items I've sent in since. So between January 29th and today, I've sent in 454 items. So these are mostly CDs, but there's also a good amount of books. So books and CDs. So that was, what was that again? Yeah, 454 items since January 29th. Now that's not, that's nothing to compare to what some people do, where they'll do 1,000 items a week or 1,000 items a month or whatever. But um, I'm working on it. I'm building it up, and by myself doing it. And I usually get 120 to 150 CDs out of a Gaylord. It takes me about a week to do that. Sometimes more. This is just FBA. This is not merchant fulfilled. So I've been getting more merchant fulfilled sales as well and listing more. So, but this is just FBA. So 454 items shipped, but then I've listed several hundred merchant fulfilled as well, and those sales have increased. So I'm predicting, to see my sales go up, to consistently go up as I continue this process. So today I finished that shipment that I ended last week. I mean, that I finished sorting out last week. So starting tomorrow, I'll start sorting my first Gaylord from this recent shipment from last week on the 27th. And let's see, 1, 2, 3. Hopefully by Thursday, I'll start listing. And by the 11th, ideally by the 11th, so next Monday, I'll ship out another decent size shipment of CDs. I'm going to do the CD Gaylords first, and then get to the one book Gaylord I have. Although I still have a stack over here of about 30. I forgot about that. About 30 CDs to list merchant fulfilled. So I still need to list those because I'm just losing out on potential sales. But yeah, I got to do that still. But yeah, I'm trying to keep it to about 7 to 10 days. Every 7 to 10 days, I get a shipment in. So there's 12 of us here. Please, guys, chime in, comment if you have any questions about the topic or anything else related to it. Just talking about, when sales are slow, what's the best thing to do to combat that? And I feel that it's to send in more inventory more consistently, but quality inventory, i.e. inventory that's going to actually sell, that you're actually going to make money on. That's not just going to sit there and pay Amazon to store it, but to actually sell it. Yeah. So you guys are pretty quiet today. So I'm probably going to end the video. I'll give you guys another couple seconds if anybody wants to comment or ask me a question. Otherwise, I've kind of talked a lot about this topic, and whoopsie daisy. There goes the computer. Stoffoli. Oh, how are you doing with DVDs with FBA? So I'm not doing DVDs on FBA. I'm not approved, so or ungated. So I'm just doing DVDs on Amazon. I mean, on eBay. So, hey. Yeah. So I'm not ungated to do that, but they do really well on eBay. Whoops. Computer. Yeah. I'm actually probably just gonna get rid of a bunch of DVDs I have now in my garage, but sell them off. But yeah, I've listed a good amount of DVDs recently on eBay, and I've sold through a pretty good amount of them. I still have some left, but I've sold some nice ones. So DVDs can be great on eBay. I'm not ungated on FBA or on Amazon. So I'm just doing books, CDs, occasional. I'll do video games here and there. I'll do some audiobooks. I'll do a random VHS tape, that type of stuff. What else? Yeah, eBay. I'll do DVDs and some other random stuff. But all right, guys. So I think I'm going to call it. I appreciate you guys watching. For those, your dud books go back to your source. What are you doing with your dud CDs? So for now, my dud CDs go into boxes and get stacked in my storage unit. When I first started doing CDs, bulk CDs, I mean, I would just scan them into the Declutter app, and I would ship off hundreds and hundreds of CDs and get my money back, or get the money, or the money that I would make would basically pay for, and then some, the CDs the money I had spent to buy them. but I decided against that. They weren't paying very much, and I just didn't want to support my competition because now that I'm doing merchant fulfilled, but also they just tend to, drop the prices. They just undercut you by a penny. So stop doing that. There's also some other, companies you can sell to, which I haven't done. But for now, I'm keeping them. And my thought is that when I get into a warehouse, I might, but I'll probably put on some sales, some CD sales kind of a thing, and see if I can move them that way. But if that doesn't end up making sense for me, then I'm probably just going to have to get rid of them somehow, put up some ads or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. I'm keeping them. So what I would do before, though, is I would also sell them in lots on eBay. I started doing huge lots, like 80, 100 CDs, and I didn't make any money. So then I started breaking them up into genres, groups, and I made some more money doing that, but it's really time intensive, and you have to break them up by genre or group or artist, and then take pictures of them and then keep them until they sell. And I would do auctions because I didn't want to keep them forever to do buy it now, where you can make more money doing that. And I just don't have the space and don't have the patience. So I would just do auctions and make some money here and there. I mean, I'd sell most of them. I'd probably sell like 90% of them. So yeah. Dragoon Boy, are you still going to book sales? Hardly ever. There's one that I've been to several months ago, and that's a decent one. If so, do you still do bag day? Not usually, no, because there's just better stuff on the first day. And the one I go to actually does have a good amount of other resellers, like maybe anywhere between 4 to 6 or so scanning. So there's a little bit of competition that first day, but I still find, 40, 50 books or so. So it was worth it. But now that I'm doing more, focusing on just doing the Gaylords, I'm not really doing the book sales. Pam says, maybe find a couple flea market guys and be their source. Yeah. It's more like, I mean, I've had this idea too, like to take pictures of all this, the wall of CDs I have and be like, put an ad up on Craigslist, put an ad up on Facebook Marketplace, maybe a couple local apps, say looking for somebody who does swap meets or flea markets who needs a steady supply of CDs. Yeah, maybe. I don't know how much I could actually get for them, but even if I could get, 25 cents and every 100 sell for $25 or something. Yeah, maybe. Part of me is like, no, don't give them away for so cheap, because I can make the money, one day. But so I'm in between, I have the space now in the storage unit. When I get to the point probably of where I have too many, then I probably have to sell some off or do something or move into a bigger space. But for now, I'm just focusing on getting on my Amazon business side of things and building out my inventory, being consistent with my shipments, that type of stuff. I still pull a few CDs from each Gaylord that I put on eBay. Not that many. I'm not intensively looking for them, but a few of them that stand out, that look really rare or interesting or unique, or stuff like certain things that fall into that category. And I'll look them up, and oftentimes I'll be able to, list them for good money. So those are ones that I'll pull out. But overall, the rest of them I'll just, I'll box up and put into and stack in the storage unit. And I've got them really tightly packed in there up against the far wall. I've got like 2 stacks going almost to the ceiling, taking advantage of all of that height I have in the storage unit. So that's what I'm doing for now with all the extras. I mean, I could just, try to sell them to, what is it, Second Spin or something. I think they also have I've scanned some in their website, and I believe it's Second Spin, and they pay a little bit more money, but they didn't take very many when I did a sample size. And then Declutter, I just don't want to do for CDs, but there's probably, you're right. There's probably guys who, I mean, there's definitely like CD stores. I know there's, there's a mega CD store in LA that I've sold to before, but it's pretty far and I don't want to go all the way over there. So we'll see what happens as going forward with all those extra CDs. Basically, I'm creating like one of the largest collections of used CDs, aside from a CD store, personal collection. Okay, guys. So I think I'll end the video now. I'm going to go eat dinner with the family, and I appreciate you guys watching. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Leave a comment below if you're watching this video in the future. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that. And my email is marshallbookman@gmail.com if you want to reach out. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, keep booking.